1 year ago today, the Taliban took over Kabul as the world watched Afghanistan fall into the hands of terrorists. So will anyone be held accountable for this catastrophic failure? Joining us now with details on a new Republican report is ranking member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee, Congressman James Comer. Congressman, welcome back to the show. So talk to us about this report. Are you looking to expose information here? Or are you actually going after specific people?
Well, I think we're going to go after specific people. It's unfortunate that we have to do that. You know, I think everyone's heart was probably in the right place during the withdrawal, but there were a lot of mistakes made. There were lives cost. And to this day, there are billions of dollars of American taxpayer dollars that are being wasted. We don't have any answers 1 year later. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating dealing with this administration. It's very frustrating, honestly, dealing with this military that we have right now. That's why I voted against the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, last week. I hate to do that, but we have requested information about appropriations from the military, and we're not getting any response.
You know, it appears from the report that the U.S. turned down the Taliban's offer for American forces to take over security for Kabul until the evacuation was complete. I feel like, going back to Lindsay's question, this is something that I'd like to know. Who was the person that made that decision? Because it seems like a colossal mistake.
Huge mistake, Sean. One of the biggest mistakes in our military's history. And yet we don't know the answer to that question. 1 year later, we still don't know the answer to that question. And I can tell you, the Biden administration has no intentions of letting anyone know the answer to that question. Hopefully in January, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and I think that the Foreign Affairs Committee and Representative McCall are doing a great job keeping this in the news. We should never forget what happened, learn from our mistakes. But in January, we intend to hold someone accountable or some people accountable, because this can't go without getting answers for the American people and without holding people accountable.
So the report shows that there were only 36 State Department officials on the ground to handle the evacuation process. I mean, that's roughly only one consulate officer for every 3,400 evacuees. Why is that number so concerning compared to what other evacuations you've seen in the past?
It's very concerning. That's on the State Department. And I will tell you, I asked the State Department liaison before the withdrawal, how many Americans are in Afghanistan? And they were estimating around 2,000. Well, we've brought over 100,000 people over here. That's another thing I want accounting of. Who these people were that came over here, were they vetted? Who were the Americans that were left over there? And how did the State Department not have any idea how many Americans were over there before the withdrawal? How are you going to withdraw people if you don't know if there are 1,000 or 100,000 people over there to withdraw? And so I think one reason they didn't have very many State Department employees over there to do the processing is they grossly underestimated how many people were over there. So that's another huge mistake by the Biden administration.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many angles to come at this from, that being one of them, the military angle, everything about this. There is a report that came out this morning that I saw that said that the communications staff over at the White House National Security Council's office is sending out talking points that push back on the report, saying that you guys are cherry-picking information. So have you seen their talking points? Where are they trying to poke holes in your report?
Well, they send talking points out every day for stuff that we do on oversight, Sean. I'm sure that's no surprise to you, former communications director at the Oversight Committee. But, the basic question that most people have about Afghanistan is how much military equipment did we have over there? And, right, the administration initially said they would get that answer for us. They've never gotten that answer for us. We don't know. We don't know if that's in the hands of the Taliban, or did the Taliban sell that to Russia? Is Russia using that against Ukraine? Are we having to fund Ukraine's military to fight back against our arms that we left in Afghanistan? I don't know any of these questions. It's so frustrating. The fact that the White House would issue talking points to combat Republicans who are just trying to get answers that the American people want is very disturbing.
Let me ask you this before you go. Ned Price, the State Department spokesperson, came out earlier today saying that America is in a stronger position now than we left Afghanistan. Do you agree?
No, I do not agree. And I don't think anybody that studies foreign affairs or world affairs would agree with that. Our foreign policy under the Biden administration has been a debacle. It started with Afghanistan, and it's only gotten worse to where we are today with China and Taiwan.
Exactly.
Congressman James Comer, thanks for looking into all this. We'll have to check back in with you. Thanks for your time this evening. All right, well, coming up, there are some highly anticipated primary races taking place across the country tomorrow, including Liz Cheney, who is fighting for her political future. We're breaking down what you need to know after the break.